Hi gang, Jonathan Eder here with the piano lesson again, and do you folks know anything about quartal harmony? So like a quarter, meaning four, so chords that are based on fourths. Very exciting sound. Typically when we think of chords, we think of stacking thirds, but in the case of quartal harmony, we're typically stacking fourths. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about that sound if you're not already acquainted with it. And then I'm going to give you some hacks. This is what everyone uses the word hack. I'm going to give you a hack for the fourth to transform it to use it for other things. One of those things is the infamous minor 7 flat 5, which so many of us tend to confuse the half diminished 7 chord, but a kind of a cool voicing that you hear Herbie use, not Herbie and the Love Bug, that's an old movie, but Herbie Hancock. And I'll just start by talking about, typically when we hear quartal harmony, we often hear it in what some people call modal music. So Miles Davis was known, or John Coltrane, McCoy Tyner was probably one of the best known pianists for using quartal harmony. And one of the tunes that is most used to introduce people to that sound is a tune called So What? And the melody is a little unusual because the melody is not actually in the right hand, it's in the left hand. That's the melody. Some people start on a D, some people start on an E. I don't know what's right, but that's the melody. Maybe you'll let me know. I start with that fifth in the bass. That's the quartal harmony. And then it goes up a half step, moving in parallel like that. So let me give you a bird's eye view of that. Take a look. E, A, D, G, B. Fourth, perfect fourth, by the way, not just any old fourth. D up to G, perfect fourth. And then at the top, I kind of lied a little bit. It's a third. The top interval is a third. That's the sound. And then that's the sound right there. And I'll just notate that for you real quick. We got our treble and a bass. So in the bass, so there's our, okay. So E, A, D, G, and then the B at the top. E, A, D, G, B, okay? And that's a fourth, and that's a fourth, and that's a fourth. This is not a fourth, that's a third, okay? That's a major third. But all of these others, those are perfect fourths, okay? They're all perfect fourths. And you just stepping down, right? So you got D, G, middle C, F, and then A, okay? And again, when you're reading music, just a little music reading tip, right? Line note, space note, okay? That's always going to be a fourth, or a space note, line note, that's always a fourth, okay? Dissimilar placement, I call it, on the staff, all right? Those are even numbered intervals, seconds, fourths, sixths, octaves, always appear in that manner, as opposed to odd numbered intervals, thirds, fifths, sevenths, like you have a third here, line, line, or space, space. Similar, I call that similar placement, so that helps your music reading as well, all right? And all right, and then you go, so that chord would be, let's just say D minor, and usually in sheet music you'd see D minor 7, but it's really more than that. It's really more than that. There's a ninth, okay? There's an 11. There's a 13. 11, 7, fifth, but So you do have an added ninth and an 11th and a 13. But if you just want it, let's just say if we just call it D minor 11 and call it good. I mean, we could do that. All right. So that's D minor and then E flat minor 11. All right. So F, B flat, E flat, A flat, C. Right. So tune is A, B, A, and you modulate when you get to section B. 1, 2, 1. Notice, by the way, I'm kind of sliding on a key, giving it a little bit more color. 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And notice the phrasing. Long, short, long, short. Connecting with the fingers. I can connect the top note. No pedal. Connect that top note. Long and short goes up. All right. Long, short, weight down, weights down, in, and up. There's the technique. In and up. Not down. That's not the way you play the piano. You can play the piano any way you want. Just going to make a little... There's a million ways to play the piano. The only way I would encourage you not to play the piano, and it sounds kind of weird, counterintuitive, but the only way is don't take your arms and push the keys down, okay? That's not a great way to play the piano. You're going to break your body, and you're going to create an ugly sound. Okay, so how is you supposed to do it then, if not like that? Well, pushing, like a drawer, okay? Pushing in, and you'll minimize you'll maximize the tone of the piano, all right? Because you won't kill the tone that way, all right? And then grabbing and coming up from the elbow. Why coming up from the elbow? Because I said so. No, because playing the piano involves leverage. So this is a lever, okay, like a bottle opener, all right? That's a lever, right? And if I just come up with my fingers, I'm not going to get as much tone, or my wrist, all right? But if I use the forearm and grab and come up as if I'm pulling the keys out of the piano, all right? That's another way to get a nice snap, a nice accent. Hear that, the thud at the end of the second one. It's not just that, or it's not that, it's, you know, all right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it goes it again. Crescendo. Start loud and less. Loud and less. Back to the D. That's 32 bars. 2, 3, 4, and comping behind the band. Half step. Give you a little bird's eye view. So there's the sound. And if you're soloing, there's your fourths. Okay, now, these are not all perfect fourths, okay? This is not a perfect fourth. That's a perfect fourth, okay? That's a tritone. That's a perfect fourth. That's fine. We're in the ballpark. So rather than, again, stacking thirds, we're stacking fourths. Using a blues scale. So those are the fourth sounds, okay? And this scale, probably a lot of you guys know, that's your Dorian, okay? That's your D-O-R-I-A-N, your Dorian mode. And the Dorian mode can be thought of in one of two ways. So you could think of it as a C major scale, starting on D, taking the same notes and just, that's one way to think of it, okay? In relative terms, right? Or in parallel, if you imagine a D major scale, right, in the treble clef, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, all right, that's a D major. If you flat the third and the seventh, okay, you can flat it, and in this instance, it will mean removing the sharp, okay, lowering it a half step. The word flat, right? The word flat simply means to lower a half step. So in that instance, it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and then back to 1 again. That's your Dorian. That's a D, right? A D Dorian. And the E flat Dorian would follow similar lines. It would be like, if you know a D flat major scale, starting on the second degree of the scale, that's the relative. Or if you were to think parallel, here's D, E flat major, lowering the third a half step, and lowering the seventh a half step. So you have all these black keys. All right, and you can practice these in parallel motion. I mean, that's kind of fun. And just keep that distance consistent, all right? And you can slide on keys. Give it more of a bluesy sound. And in this instance as well, you know, I use my ear a bit too. Sometimes I break the rules a bit. Officially, the Dorian is that, but I like that. Okay, so we're using some chromaticism in there, but that's the mystery of the Quartal harmony solved. Okay, so when else could you use Quartal harmony? Well, I suppose, you know, you could use it even in place of a dominant 7, potentially. Watermelon Man. Now, the official chord in Watermelon Man, this is the interesting thing about jazz, there's ambiguity. So officially, that chord in Watermelon Man is F7. But the way it's played in reality, it's really a sharp 9. More, I mean, this is semantics, trying to give a chord a name. It's basically F7, okay, but it has a sharp 9. Why? Because of that sound. That A flat. If I play A natural, that's really not the sound of the tune. That's truly a sharp 9, but I don't remember hearing quite that. It's not, you could play that, but it's more like, that's kind of a guitar voicing too. You hear guitar players play stuff like that, you know, and then F7, they play G, C, E flat, or they play, and then A, D, F, almost like a 6. Or they play, or chromatically sometimes. You'll hear, I'm not a guitarist, so don't, you know, quote me on that, right? But that sound, that funky sound. Let me give you another bird's eye view here so you know what I'm talking about. We're playing. So there's your 4th. There's your 3rd on top. So I'm using this I'm using this voicing in a sense, but I'm only using the top part, okay? But so it's sort of that sound. That sound is sort of neither here nor there. Is it major? Is it minor? It's kind of bending the rules a bit in that sense. But that F7 sound. Now, let's look at another scenario. Minor 7 flat 5. Okay. Watch this. If you have, let's just say A minor 7 flat 5. When would you see that? Well, let's look at a tune like How High the Moon. Now, A minor 7 flat 5. I'm using a shell voicing. I'm taking the notes in the root position and playing them up here to distribute them a little more evenly. That's 2, 5, 1 in G minor. Just a little heads up there, you know, for your real book fans, the real book typically has that wrong. They have the chords reversed. They have it as A minor 7, not A minor 7 flat 5. How do I know it's wrong? Because the logical progression to go to a minor key is to precede it with minor 7 flat 5. So it's first, then it's minor 7. Right. Now, suppose you're just, that's playing with 2 hands right now, but maybe you're comping in a band or something like that. Here's your 4th, right? Here's your 4th. You add this. That's a really nice A minor 7 flat sound. And if you keep this, right, and you just change the bass, you can still conceivably use it as the 5 chord as well. And then you can go to your minor, the sound. Or so I'm playing the root here, the 7th. This would be a 4th, let's say, but and that's another possible use. D7, sharp 9, sharp 5. Okay. And then for your minor, you know, well, it depends, but you know, you could do that. There's your Quartal harmony there. All right, so it's that's possible, you know. It's possible too, but A minor 7 flat 5. So this is A minor 7 flat 5. Typically we think of it that way. But believe it or not, and it might sound a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It just might sound like I'm breaking all the rules, but you can leave thirds out of a chord. It is conceivable that you can do that. So even though the third really does define the chord in terms of major or minor, but if you leave it out, well, that makes the chord even more interesting and exciting and more ambiguous. So it's possible to do that. Let's see. So that's my story with Quartal harmony. And again, typically I think of using that sound more on minor type sounds. So Dorian mode, you could use it on a natural minor scale as well. You know, Aeolian mode, that's possible. And even Phrygian is possible. E Phrygian. It's possible. You could use, something that's a Phrygian sound. Stacking those fourths in the left hand. And then improvising too. Using that sound. This is just white keys, right? You could do it diatonically. You could use any scale or mode that you saw fit to do. This is just in D Dorian. Okay, or up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Or starting from the middle note. Any combination of notes starting from the top, right? Any of those would work fine. And if you have questions about this, let me know, okay? Just drop me a line and let me know what your questions are. Let me try to just write this out for you real fast too, so I can share that. Let's just say, so give you a better view here. A minor 7 flat 5. So let's just say A, D, E flat, and then G. A, D, E flat, and G. That's the A minor 7 flat 5. And then if you want to do this, you could stack. Those are, add the third in there. D7, sharp 5, sharp 9. Okay, C, F. Okay, I'm gonna write this in a different way. Actually, I'm gonna write this as E sharp. That's a better way to do it, actually. And then F sharp, okay, and then A sharp, okay. Spelling, okay, the ninth, C, E sharp, F sharp, and A sharp. Again, this is the seventh, this is the sharp 9, this is the third, and this is the sharp 5, okay. And a little pet peeve of mine is that I think spelling is really important, because if you don't spell the notes of the chord right, then the intervals don't appear correctly in the sheet music. And if the intervals don't appear correctly, then it's confusing, at least to a pianist. To me, it's confusing. There's this idea that writing F natural is easier than writing E sharp. It's really not. I'd much prefer to see an E sharp because, again, I want to know how the note functions, and maybe I'm digressing a bit, but I want to know that it's the ninth, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, 8, 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Any kind of an E is a ninth. It could be sharp 9, flat 9, regular ninth, right? That's the ninth. Okay, it's not an F. You don't have a minor third and a major third together, you know. The F sharp, okay, the F, any kind of an F is going to function as the third, right? And then the A is the sharp 5. Now that isn't quite as critical, maybe. You could write it as a B flat and call it a flat 13. That's also possible. You might do that. But when I write these intervals out, it makes more sense to me. Now I know I'm talking about fourths. It's one of those things about the piano. There are these enharmonic spellings where you have one key with two names. So this sound C up to E sharp is really not a fourth. Okay, that's a whole nother issue. So if you want to spell it as an F, I guess there's an argument to be made to spell it as an F potentially, but the effect is going to be similar, at least on a piano. Okay, I think we're almost out of time, so I'm just kind of going to wind down here. And again, this is the piano lesson. I thank you guys for taking the time to watch. If you made it through to the end, wow, my gosh. And if you, again, have some questions or you'd like some pointers on a one-to-one basis and you need want to brush up on some things privately with me, shoot me an email and we can talk. But I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. It's 4th of July coming up, and everyone, I hope, will come back with all their fingers. So they're very useful, as I'm sure you know. I'm not a big fireworks guy. So it's kind of funny that we're using a Chinese invention to celebrate an American holiday. Go figure. I guess even back then, we were outsourcing everything to China. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna run. You guys take care, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.